with the Indie Magazine podcast for another episode with Kevin Basset and Snap Murphy, a hip-hop artist based in Las Vegas.
This episode is part of a series of interviews accompanying the release of Kevin's new collaborative album, Lows.
Enjoy.
Okay, great. So we got Snap Murphy here, and we were just talking about his recent workout journey that he's been on.
Yeah, it's been really amazing. 39 years old. I turned 40 on the 4th of July this year. And one of the big things for me was that I haven't had discipline my whole life. I've struggled with that. So I'm like, I had a 5-year goal to weigh a certain weight. And I was about 50, 60 pounds away from that going into this year. And I said, I better hop on it now because I procrastinated. And I'm already, here we are in March, I'm already about 25 pounds away from that goal. And my birthday's 4th of July. So I'm going to not only beat that goal, I'm going to surpass it. My own expectations.
Oh, that's so exciting.
But the workout is not for the physical. It's for the mind. It's for the discipline. It's for the, just to be able to replace good habits with old habits. And that's what my new trajectory is on life, is just heading to that positive light of enlightenment through mind, body, and soul being connected as one. So now that's where I'm getting my body and mind right.
Love it. That's so cool. And I feel like that's something that's so inspiring about, in general, as an artist, is that you constantly have this, hey, like everyone, we need to be reinventing ourselves.
Absolutely.
Like constantly. And I felt that so much. I remember it wasn't the first time I saw you, because the first time I saw you was actually a birthday show that you did in 2021 or something like that. It was like COVID was ending kind of period. And I went with Cody Dack, whose shirt you're wearing.
Yeah.
And
shout outs to Dack.
Yeah. He's amazing. Mm-hmm. What a good artist. Yeah. And I went to that show and I was like, man, this guy's remarkable. But then you came to an open mic and I saw you and I was like, oh, I love this spirit of, hey, let's be different. Let's reinvent ourselves. Let's constantly be new.
And vulnerable as an artist.
Totally.
And just being able to tell my story to others, but not let I went through a lot and we all have a story. And I think that the biggest thing in life is to don't let the story define you of the past, the things that may break you, or maybe you have depression out there, whoever's listening to this, or things that you're battling. And whether it's art or life, because life is art, you just have to be able to sometimes change up the monotony of. A lot of people, they go down a spiral. I've always wanted to show people that you can have courage and strength to be you. And then now, as far as like translating into the whole music and just the spirit of what I do and freestyling, which I love to do.
You're excellent at.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're a ridiculous freestyler.
Thank you. And I think it's just the way my brain works. It goes for the moment. I don't think about what I say. I feel like almost there's a voice already in me that speaks, and I get to be the listener on the outside to hear the story of my own life. And I don't know what that is, but it's like I think it's just the practice from freestyle rapping. I think that was that specifically I've loved to be able to go off of the top of my mind and grab things that are around me. And I think the ADHD things I've been diagnosed with or ADD, where my brain just thinks so rapid. Every 8 seconds is like 1 second in my brain. So when I start rapping and I practice over the years, I might be just going with the flow of the motion, but really in my head, I'm just sitting here thinking, should I use this word to rhyme next? Or should I pick this one or that one? And I'm doing it all in real time and fast, not pausing, but just from the way I've trained at it. And I think people love that about it, is just the freestyle is like being a free spirit too. Just let everything out of how you feel.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you enjoying the music and you're an amazing artist as well.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So it's just, I love being able to connect with the community in all aspects of doing what we all love, which is music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was like that specific experience was so cool for me too, because that second time meeting you, because the first being your birthday show, which was incredible. From the get-go, I was like, oh man, this guy kills it. I think you had Henry on that bill. And so I was like, I was there because I knew Henry.
Yeah.
And then I saw you and I was like, oh shoot, like this is remarkable. This is really great. And then you came back into that little open mic that I hosted at Taverna.
Yeah.
And instantly, and this rarely happens for me, where I'll see a performance that will inspire me to write a song.
Yeah.
But after I saw that performance, I went home and I wrote the next part.
That's awesome.
Because I was like, this is so cool. Like this attempt to constantly be a new person.
Yes.
And I loved that, like, hey, like, now's the time.
Absolutely.
We got to take a step back and reevaluate to make a difference in our own lives. And I was like, that's such a cool concept. And it struck me like so deeply that I went home, wrote the song, and then I was like, I have to have Snap
That's so
feature on
amazing.
this, because who else could you have feature on it? It could have been someone else, but I feel like it was the best option because you'd inspired it so much. I was like, I want to have this guy be the one voicing it on this.
I was so
song.
grateful to be a part of that because it was just a big part of my life at that moment too, of when I did that, is just being on that next part of my life. One of the biggest philosophies I live by now is that with all of the hardships of me losing my mom, my 16-year-old nephew, grandparents, high school sweetheart, one of my close friends, all in a year and a half's time, I realized that in life, like, I didn't plan for that. No one plans to go through loss, grief. No one plans to lose their job or lose their homes, or no matter what they're going through. But I started getting comfortable getting in the uncomfortable. I want to change my life before life changes me. And I think that's what really got to be in that state of getting on to the next part through growth, is being uncomfortable.
Yeah, like learning to be uncomfortable so you can make life better.
Yeah, you learn from it. Every experience that might be whatever it is, but specifically with hardship, I think that we can either channel an energy to that to give it power to where it breaks us or it makes us. Death is very hard specifically to go through with like your loved ones, and everyone deals with grief differently. But I think what really helped me was realizing I never really lost them. They're in my heart. They want to see me happy and shine. So it's up to me to figure out what causes that happiness and that shine. And it's those things in those moments of my life where I'm at Taverna and I'm on a microphone and here I am and I inspire someone like you to be able to write that next song. I don't want to be an inspiration to the world. I want to inspire the people to be the inspiration to the world. And you created a song that you wrote, and then you sent it to me, and it was also resonating to me. So it's funny how the world works, of where that song inspired me to write to it when you sent it to me.
Because I remember after I sent it, you were like, just so you know, I don't, like, people send me stuff all the time and I rarely feature on it. And I was like, oh man, I felt so privileged. Even more so hearing that. I was like, this is so cool that it's like, we've hit that point.
And that's the thing is it's hard because there's a lot of my friends that make music and they send me stuff and I don't make music to it. And it has nothing against, I'd love to be able to make music with everybody, but music has to really resonate to a part of my life that I'm at. I can't write love songs if I just went through a breakup. I can't write high energetic songs if I'm battling depression, vice versa. If someone wants me to write something that's sad, but I'm on a really good place in my life. But with what you sent, it was just like, you know what? I'm writing, this can let me, the art speaks for itself. So it was just natural for me to be able to write to it. And I really enjoy that song and just, I listen to it all the time and love it. I can't wait for the whole world to hear it.
Yeah, it's coming out my grandma's birthday.
That's awesome. And when is that? So for all of the
March
people
18th.
listening. Okay.
March 18th. Yeah.
Love it.
Legitimately, like, part of the reason I made this album is because I was like, I want something that I can listen to. Yeah. I can just sit back and be like, oh, I need something to listen to. Let's put on Flows because I know I'll enjoy it. Yeah. And it's cool to be able to like, so like, I'm so excited for the album to come out so I can easily like access it on my phone in my car so I can just put it on all the time. Sure. Because I love like all the different verses everyone contributed. Like I love your verse on next part. And I love like everyone's contributions have been so brilliant. And it's just it's one of those things where I'm like, I just want to listen to the song again. Like I want to be able to listen to the next part all the time. It's always in my head.
I was listening to it on the way here.
Oh, no way. That's so fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I love it.
I just think it's a pretty piece. There's some interesting things musically that go on with it.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. And everyone contributed so well to what the title of the song is. Yeah. And that's what I love about it. It's really a beautiful song, and I'm sure that everyone's going to enjoy it when they hear it.
I hope so. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you gassing up a little bit. Okay. Speaking of the next part, I think it would be good for those who don't know Snap Murphy listening to this to get a background of the Snap origin story. Sure. So let's hear, because you've been in the rap game for over 20 years now here in Vegas. Oh, yeah. I just want just a DL of everything going on with your story.
Sure. Starting from really the beginning of writing music and writing songs started at an early age for me. Grew up outside of Chicago in Northwest Indiana. And I used to love to write short stories ever since I was like in third grade. And it was all started from an assignment during Halloween where the teacher wanted us to write like this little short story of Halloween. And that's when I realized I had a really creative mind from the teachers. So by the time I was in sixth grade, I was taking creative writing classes in college for my writing. And I thought I was going to actually be, this is something I've never told anybody, so this will be fresh on this podcast, but I actually thought I was going to be more of an author and a book writer. Never thought rap would be the thing, but just growing up the way I did, 2 older brothers, gangs, shot, stabbed, in and out of prison, no father in my life, just my mom, growing up in a rough neighborhood. My brothers were my parents, and they were the ones that exposed me to rap and all the time, like since a kid, and I thought I would hate it. But when you're a little kid, you always look up to your older brothers as far as like you want them to be proud of something you do. I played basketball. They used to make fun of me, or I'd do different things. But when I wrote my first little rap song one time, they actually like hyped me up on it. And I was like, oh, so I wanted to look cool around my brothers and rap. And then by the time I was about 12 years old, I said, if I stick to this, I'll be better than all the 16-year-olds. And then I moved to Vegas. And then to summarize it, I come into Vegas, I stay with the music. I do my first show at 20 years old at the Cooler Lounge here in Las Vegas. They're no longer there, but that was like where there was a Campfire Music. Shout out to them because they were the ones that started that and gave me my foot in the door. But that was a place where I rocked my very first show, and I just never stopped. I just kept on moving forward all the way to where I've been to Willie Nelson's and got to teach the top Red Bull athletes in the world how to freestyle rap. I got to be the first artist in Vegas to have a song played at a Golden Knights game. I got my song getting ready to be played at a Raiders game next year, which is exciting. And it's just a kid from Indiana with a dream that went through things. And I think that a lot of people needed to hear that in the long version, because whatever you do out there, believe in yourself. Even if it's not music, just believe in what you do, because I grew up in a smaller town and I got Red Foo from LMFAO in a music video. Like, I've done a lot of cool things, all because I just never stopped making music and doing what I love. And I think that people out there just need to never think it's ever too late either. Being a rapper specifically, I hear so many other rappers that say, I'm getting too old for this. I'm like, what is too old? You got Jay-Z and a lot of these people who are in their 40s are some of the top guys still. And beyond that, there's no age on art. Do it because you love it, and don't think about how many people are listening. Just know that this is what you love, and whoever's listening and who you have, even if it's one person to 1,000 or thousands of people, just appreciate every fan and every person that moves and comes across the way. We have a friendship through music. These are the things I appreciate about making music and what keeps me motivated to keep going.
Yeah. I think there's so much to unpack there. I think
there really is,
which I feel like is true with not just what you speak, but also like with your raps. There's always so much to unpack in such like a short time period. But I really like that idea of being a part of a music community.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like too often people think, oh, if I'm going to do music, I have to be massive. I have to be hugely successful.
Yeah.
And I don't think they understand how just awesome it is to go out to local shows and to hang out with local artists who are so talented and get to know them and hear them do their art and associate with them. Because there's like these friendships that are so different and distinct from like anything else.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree. And you got to enjoy the journey as much as the destination. Everyone does something for a reason. And I thought at first I want to be a superstar only because I wanted to take care of my mom so she never had to work again. Not to necessarily have because I want everybody to love me. I just wanted to make it my living because I love it. And I wanted to make it I wanted to take care of my family and loved ones. And it's just the people that have came in my life now for the last 20 years of making music plus every relationship, pretty much most of my friendships have all came from some sort of path with music, meeting them at shows, And next week, I'm flying to Sacramento because I met a girl about 5 years ago when I did a show at the Brooklyn Bowl here in Las Vegas, that we developed just a very close relationship with each other. And it's her birthday, so I'm going to go hang out with her. And then I'm doing a show next Friday in Sacramento. And like these things, like I get to go travel and do things because I met this person. And it's so cool to meet people along this journey and to be able just to have friends a little bit of everywhere that live in all walks of life. I'm a rapper, but I hang out with country people. I hang out with people that have maybe, if we were just in a normal setting, we wouldn't have a commonality to get to know each other. But then art brings us together. Music brings us together. And that's what's really beautiful about this, about making music and just about life.
I agree so much. I've seen the same thing personally because with my religion, I don't do alcohol or any drugs. And at first coming into the music scene, I was like, people aren't going to like this. They're not going to be accepting of this. But then when I got into it, no one gave a dump.
Yeah.
They didn't care. They were like, oh, you're here for the music too?
Yeah.
You're one of us.
Yeah.
For the most part. There are some people who are weird about that type of stuff and they're like, oh, you can't hang out with us unless you're drinking. Right. But you don't want to be friends with those people anyway because they're normally not the best people.
Anybody that judges you for you being you.
Yeah.
If somebody, you want to be around the people that accept you for who you are.
Absolutely.
And I have friends that drink. I have friends that are sober and I love them equally. I just love, who are you as a person? Are you a good person? Do you bring... When you're around, are you kind? Are you not? Like, it's just like there's more than just about you, what beliefs and more than who you are. It's just, I just want you to be happy for you and not have to worry about how other people look at you. I accept you for you. And I think that was a hard thing for me for a long time. I had a hard time accepting myself. Wanted people to love me, I just needed to love me. And once I love me, it radiates to everybody else. And then you attract the same energy or you just attract people that belong in your life. And you can also help a lot of people that, like for me, I did a year of sobriety of no alcohol. I quit smoking. And now I do smoke every now and then. And I do have a drink every now and then. And I got judged too, like where people were like by both parties of, you got people that are like, dude, they thought I failed because I got rid of my sobriety by drinking and smoking again. Then even the same people that were smoking and drinking said the same thing. Like, dude, it disappoints me that you're smoking and drinking again. Like both of them. And I'm like, here's the thing I want you guys to understand on both sides of it. I wanted to do a year because I lost a lot and I wanted to not grab any substance for me to handle my life. So I did with a clear conscience and a clear mind. And I don't abuse either, but if my friend gets engaged and they're having wine, I'm going to have a glass of wine to celebrate, and it doesn't bring me in a sorrow or pain or a darkness. And some people can't handle that. The ones that do drink and smoke, it's their vice. They have a hard day. I need a drink. I need to smoke. You shouldn't need anything like that. And that's when it's a problem. And I knew that was like, for me, it was like, I'm taking a break, but I get it. And I actually love sobriety and I love both sides of it. Sometimes I have a drink and I let loose. That's great. Or sometimes like when I went on that year, I just really got myself together and I realized how much that stuff was controlling your mind and your life. And I think everyone, even if you're a smoker or drinker, whatever you do out there, I would love for you for your own life to maybe just try a year off and see which way you want to go.
Yeah. I think that's so wise, your approach to it, because you realized, okay, there's a bunch of stuff going on in my life right now.
Yeah.
And there is a huge opportunity in this instance to go down a terrible road.
100%.
Like, and to abuse drugs to cope with my grief and with my situation. And you said, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not even going to give it the chance. Like, it's not going to have a chance with me because I'm taking a year off of everything, which is so cool. I think that's so intelligent.
Yeah. And you know what the cool part about that was too, is I struggled with depression most of my life. I was in a very dark place and I didn't always have that willpower to say, I want to quit. I've been down that road for a long time where I felt like I had no control of it. And I would still drink and still smoke and eat bad and do all these things that were emotional for me. But once I realized, when I went through all that loss, I also struggled with faith prior to that for a good few years. I grew up Catholic, and then at some point in my life, I started questioning everything. I lost faith, and I didn't realize how dark my trajectory of my life would be, not having faith in my life. So when I went through all that loss, and I knew that there was 2 times in my life that I thought about killing myself, and I'm not afraid to talk about that to the world because they need to hear this, is that there was 2 times I thought about that. And it wasn't God that saved me at those times. It was my mom being alive and knowing all that she went through in her life. I just couldn't do it to her. So when I lost her, that's when I got on my knees and said, God, if you're there for me, I need you now more than ever, because who's going to save me now when I go down that road? So it was me having the willpower of my faith to say that I'm going to give this alcohol up. I'm going to give this weed up. God, I'm doing this for you, but please show me the way to better my life. This has happened 2 years ago, and I'm on this podcast the happiest, the healthiest, the best self-esteem I've ever had, the best confidence. And I am that person that wants to show the world that have faith. Don't believe everything that the media teaches you. Have your own connection with God. Don't think of even... And I believe in so much, I don't want anyone, I'm not, because I love all religions and it could be a very sensitive topic. But if you just don't believe or you don't have faith, just try to just have your own connection and just pray. Prayer has got me through so much in my life. And I give all the glory to God for everything I've gone through.
Oh, that was beautiful. Sorry, I was almost like teared up for a second there. That was awesome.
Comes from the heart. It's free. That's a freestyle itself.
Oh,
it comes from my heart and soul. I speak from there. Sometimes it might not make sense. Sometimes it's really impact people. And
yeah, that's cool. I think, man, what a cool story of realizing, hey, my mom's gone. She was the thing keeping me from taking my own life.
Yeah, my inspiration, my motivation, my everything in life.
Right. I need something now, and if I don't, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But I want to keep living. You get on your knees, you pray, and you have this amazing experience where you get more positive, you get more confident. You just really change your life. And God changes your life.
God changed my life. I'll give all the glory to him, because I have tried so many times to change and I couldn't. Didn't have the willpower. I knew I needed to give something up. Prayer to me was something that I can't just ask God all the time for things. I needed to feel like it wasn't right for my own soul. You can ask God anything, but like for me, I felt guilty always asking. So I said, I'm devoting these changes for my life. Please show me the way. And that's when I seeked out therapy. I knew I needed help. I got a therapist, this woman from Africa that has gone through so much in her life, such a strong woman. When I lost my mother, my grandmother, and my high school sweetheart, the 3 most powerful feminine women in my life that have been guidance to me, I get like all 3 into one. And it's just ironic. She's a woman of God, and she would give me quotes and tell me things like, do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself. And it's like these little things that she said, or little quotes. She told me, and this is a funny story to enlighten it out there, is that she told me, you can ask God for anything. Don't ever feel sorry for that. So I was watching football that night with some friends, and I put a bet on a wide receiver to score a touchdown in the game. And it was like they had the ball. They didn't even need to score. It was like the last play of the game. And I was like, God, I talked to my therapist today. He told me I can ask you for anything. Help me win. And this was just funny. I was like, help me. And I thought of it as funny, but I was just like, please help me win this bet and have him score a touchdown. Very next play, that guy gets thrown the ball to touchdown. And it was just like a way for me and God to laugh together and just say, he's always been there for me. And I've had some very impactful things happen that were like, I feel like I've had and I'm not crazy out there. I felt like I've had conversations with God, just having like being connected to him now, and just being, there's things that I've seen that that's happened in my life where I just feel so grateful. And I always hoped one day that I would find the light through this darkness that I've been in mentally, of the depression, the hurt, the pain, the things that I couldn't quite. I've always been a positive person. But sometimes just because you're positive doesn't mean you're not hurting inside. And so to be able to always hope for this day to where you have a light and you're happy and you feel enlightened, and I'm not being my own worst enemy and self-deprecating, and now I love myself and I'm happy, and it's because I know there's God, that God has got me to where I'm at today. So all the glory to God. It wasn't me that made it. I feel like it was God that helped me get to where I'm at today.
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, so much to think about with that, of finding a relationship, like a personal relationship with God.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most valuable things
Oh, yeah.
people can get in general. I think even because I'm fairly into like religious things, and I feel like one problem I sometimes see is that people don't have that like personal relationship with God. They let their church or other people define that relationship with God for them.
Yep.
And they're not praying to God personally and having those little conversations, those little back and forths, which I think are essential to progression in life.
Oh, 100%. It's not always, there's so many people that go to church too that, like you said, they don't really necessarily have the connect. They feel like that's their connection. If I go to church, then that's going to make me feel good because I did this. But are you applying it to your life? Are you having conversations by yourself when it's not on Sunday and you're talking to God and giving guidance? And sometimes you got to realize you ask for love. God gives you broken people that will show you how to love. You ask for certain things where you might not understand and you might lose faith because of that. But there's lessons behind it all. When I watched my 16-year-old nephew die and he was murdered and lost my mom, all those losses I went through, I can sit here now today. It wasn't, God, why'd you put me through this? God, some people blame, and that's how they lose their religion. They think that, if there was a God, I wouldn't go through that. I disagree. God put me through tests because look what I'm doing now. I'm the testimony. And now I can give it to the world, and I'm so excited about it.
That's a bar right there.
Yep.
God gave me tests. Look, now I'm a testimony. That's sick. That's good.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I think your rap style is so unique. You've got this great freestyle flow. What was the music playing in your home when you were growing up? What were your parents listening to? What were your brothers listening to?
Yeah.
How many brothers do you have? What's your sibling situation?
I have, growing up, 2 older brothers. I have a half brother and a half sister too. But just growing up, 2 older brothers. Dad wasn't around. Mom was a bartender. And she would be at work. And my oldest brother was like in charge of watching the middle brother and me. And so at a very early age, my brothers always loved hip rap music. So we grew up watching Rap City, which was channel 20. I remember the channel channel 27, and channel 30 was MTV at the time. And we would watch Yo MTV raps. And I grew up, and this is a great story. The first thing ever that really made me love rap, and it was all rap, by the way. It was like, that's what I grew up on as far as like that goes. But I got 2 great stories. The first one being, I really loved Ghetto Boys. Mine's Playing Tricks on Me. That music video, I see this guy, Bushwick Bill, and he's my height because he's a short person. And I'm a little kid. And I love Bushwick Bill as, who's this guy? And that song was so good. And that's what really made me like start to love rap. And then I just kept following whatever my brothers would play. And then my dad, my mom were always friends with rock bands in Chicago and different things like that. And so my name is Matthew Murphy, right? And the Blues Brothers, you got Matt Guitar Murphy. So I was named after Matt Guitar Murphy from the Blues Brothers. And yeah, so that was like my nickname growing up forever. I wish I played guitar. That'd be great, but I don't. I'm Matt Rapper Murphy, but but those are the things that are just, that's a cool story that I'd also never shared.
Sorry, I just love the idea of you being called Matt Guitar Murphy and never playing guitar.
Never play guitar. I actually own 2 guitars. I enjoy just plucking some strings. I don't know what I was doing, and I didn't want to take the time to learn. I was like, no, I'm a writer. I need to put all my time into writing. I want to be the best at that. And I would feel guilty playing video games, doing other things. I'm like, I don't have time for nothing else. I have to rap. Otherwise, if I don't get this, I'm going to be sad. Like, I have to write. And that's the thing. I just even making beats. I'm pretty good at making beats, but I'm like still taking time from the one thing I love, which is the writing and freestyling and rap, just the art of rapping.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about writing a book now as you've gotten older?
Oh yeah. I definitely want to write a book. I want it to be more of like a biography mixed with a little bit of self-help for folks out there, and just a whole philosophy of somebody that came from nothing, that turned it to something, and not just a success of, not on a success of a financial level or anything, but a success of life, of what being rich truly is having your health and having loved ones all around you. And I want to show people like, this is what I went through. I should have gave up. I should have went down the left road, but this is what I chose. This is like how I was raised, and this is what I wanted to do. And just to truly show how to overcome, because I've been through it, not just somebody that went to school for it, but somebody that lived the story to tell. But yes, definitely want to build that. And I want to have pictures involved too. So that way I can tell the story through these times. So it's going to be a biography, but I really want to have pictures from growing up all the way till where I'm at now.
I think what you should do, this is just insight into the book thing. Have you ever read Jack Kerouac?
I haven't.
Okay. I recommend Jack Kerouac because I think you could write a Jack Kerouac type book.
Yeah?
Yeah. He wrote this book called On the Road. That's like his really popular one.
Okay.
But his best one is Big Sur.
Okay.
Phenomenal writer. And the way he does it is he's telling these autobiographical experiences, and then he'll break out into prose. Like mid-sentence, suddenly it'll be poetry.
Oh, wow. I like that.
And it just keeps going in the same story, but now it's poetry. Like he's describing something, but it is a poem.
Yeah.
It's no longer just like a standard narrative.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome.
It's so cool. And I think you could totally nail something like that, where you're just like, it's just like the normal, like you're telling this story and then you get to a description and it's suddenly the cadence changes. Suddenly it becomes a rap.
That's
like
cool.
Midway through the book. I think that would be the coolest experience to read something like that.
That would be awesome. And there's even a lot of songs that I have where I write about these experiences. So like just putting the quotes from that and then referencing it to the song and like showing people as I'm telling the whole story in detail. This is what inspired me to write this section. And then also using poetry. I like that idea. I think that's brilliant.
I think that'd be so cool. And I feel like you would have to narrate the audiobook too.
Oh, 1,000%.
Because then when you got to those parts, suddenly you're rapping them.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And that would be the coolest thing.
That would be really cool. I love that. And I definitely want to do it. I really want to get into writing books. I really do.
You should.
And it's going to happen.
You've got such a skill for writing. You've put your whole life into it.
Yeah.
I think you writing a book just makes sense. And it's interesting because like, I feel like with autobiographies, you normally think, oh, I'm going to read the autobiography of someone famous who's like made a huge like worldwide impact of success type of thing. But I think an autobiography of yours would just be such a cool experience to read.
Yeah.
From like this underground hip hop experience, where within underground hip hop, I would say you're one of the rappers, especially from Vegas, that's like, there's notoriety around your name. You're not like this massive like Brother Ali type where everyone who listens to underground hip hop knows it.
Right.
But those who do are like, no, Snap Murphy's dope.
I have a cult following, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Like I have like Las Vegas, something made me emotional the other day and it was awesome because you just want your peers in the music community to know your name and you want to be a role model. For me, I want to be a role model to them. How to just beyond the music, but how I treat people and how I look at life. I went to a show the other night and Vessel and Dak were performing and
super fun show.
They got to do our song that we did, Reach Out. And I had a show right before their show. So I wasn't sure if I was going to make their set. I made it right on time to watch them. And Vessel and Dak gave me a shout out. And then after they were done performing, Samson, who was on Campfire Music, another great guy, he performed. This was during the Campfire Music when I was telling earlier about me first rapping out here at the Cooler Lounge. He was the guy that everybody knew, and I was just getting my feet wet, and I wanted to be known and respected by Campfire. And I never, for a long time, which is something that we just never connected. But these days that as we get older, and it's like there's a big mutual respect there, and it's awesome. But he gave me a shout out on stage too. So my friend Chris Martin comes up to me and he's like, dude, Snap, everywhere I go, you're the only person I see where everybody's always shouting you out on a stage when they're performing. And it just made me so grateful to hear that, so happy, so enriched in my life, because all I ever wanted was to be heard by the people that I look up to as artists, number one, but also just to have a voice here, man, that people can look and say, hey, I've heard your name before. And it shows you that your hard work and your determination and all of the years that you put in, some of the darkest times of my life, I'd go and on my birthday, I was alone one time. I went to a movie theater and this guy that I went and bought popcorn from, he's like, dude, you're Snap Murphy, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I was playing guitar and you kicked a freestyle on the strip one time, and it motivated me to keep on pushing with my own music. I just want you to know that. And it's like, you just gave me the best birthday gift ever by telling me that.
Absolutely.
You know? So like, thank you. And like, it just makes me proud and happy that I do this out of love, and I do this to express myself, and that other people's resonate to it. And it's like this all over the world. I got 1 or 2 fans. I feel like a little bit of everywhere. I get beats from a guy that makes them from Australia. I'm supposed to go there later this year for a week to work on music with him. And it's like, being able to travel is what I want to do, and meet all these folks that we're all connected, because that's the best part about music. I think this is where musicians have the biggest advantage. If you're a songwriter, that's someone that speaks their heart, you're going to connect to others that are just like you all over the place. And that's a great learning experience. I wish that everybody can have, but not everybody makes music or that can realize that there's so many people out there that are just like you, that are just going through the same fight. You're inspiring people. There's a kid that's my friend, Nikki. She has a son, and who has a brain condition and has to get MRIs every single weekend, and can listen to music when he does his MRIs and tells his mom, I just want to listen to Snap Murphy, because if Snap Murphy can get through what he went through, I can get through this too. This little boy is 12 years old and has this condition. So no matter how hard things I've been through, it's always those reminders. It's always that you're somebody's superhero. When I grab that microphone, it's like a comic book. I become a superhero. Snap Murphy is this hero that's here to save the world through music and to bring us all together and to bring unity in my community.
What a great perspective. I like that idea too of like, I wonder what it's like for those who've reached like a certain echelon where, you know, every 1 in 100 people knows their name. I wonder if they get that same thrill that you and I get when one person recognizes us. And they're like, with me, I've had people be like, oh, I heard your music on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, like that's random. Like how, like, I'm just like at Smith's shopping. It's like the craziest thing when something like that happens.
That's cool.
And it's thrilling. It's like, it's an otherworldly experience, as I'm sure you've experienced, where you're just
so
like
joyful.
It's so fun. It's the coolest thing. And I wonder if like, I hope that never goes away. I hope that you get to a certain extent and you're not like, oh, now I've made it. And that happens all the time and I don't care. I think that's insane. And I hope that never happens.
I had somebody one time say, don't ever forget the little people. And I said, I want you to always remember, in my life and through these eyes, the little people are the biggest people. It's everybody that listens to my music and every person that was there, like that's seen me and that's just been there and that tells me that. I'm like, we are all equal. I'm no bigger than anybody else. My head will never be bigger than my heart. And I love people, and I just love the fact that it can connect us all. And that's, my friends are my family is, sometimes I feel bad for even using the word fans, because these people are listening to my music and it's a term for it. But I think of it more as, this is my family. The ones that love my music, it's because they connect to me. Otherwise they wouldn't connect to the music if they didn't connect to me. And these people are my family. We are the ones here that my story is resonating to their life, and it helps me learn, and I learned so much. So one of my lines in my songs is that people tell me, thank you for saving their life, not knowing that I would be crying the same night thanking my fans for saving my life.
Ooh.
They are my inspiration as much as I'm their inspiration.
Being able to connect with someone else.
Yeah.
On any level.
It feels great.
It's insane.
For someone to say, I hear your song on YouTube, or it's like, you're going down the aisles with a smile on your face. Someone heard my music. I think it's so important to compliment each other beyond music. Just
100%.
Like today's actually we're talking, and I believe it's International Women's Day.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody post it. So I messaged them and said, hey, just want to let you know, happy International Women's Day. And it meant so much to them. Awesome. Just didn't take more than 3 seconds for me to do something that makes somebody's day. I think we all need to be connected. It'll never go away because humans strive for human connection. And we just have to continue to be the music makers and the people in the world that can just always keep on putting those puzzle pieces together in life. Everyone's a puzzle piece that creates a bigger picture, something beautiful. And we just have to put them all together, and just the compliments, the love, it can really change somebody's day, change their life.
I made a commitment to myself a few years ago in that vein where I said, I'm never going to talk positively about someone behind their back without letting them know.
I love that.
So every time I'm with someone and we start talking about someone else and we start saying like, oh man, that guy's so cool. And we start saying like all these great things about them.
Yeah.
Because so many times like people will say, oh, that person says nice things about you all the time. And I'm like, they do? Like, I thought they didn't even like me as a person. Like, I'm just like super surprised because I have this bad thing in my brain where I just assume most people don't like me.
Yeah, I get it.
Which I don't know if a lot of people have that, but it gets in me. And so whenever when I saw that happening, I was like, I don't want that to happen for anyone else. I don't want anyone else to think that I don't love them.
100%.
And so now every time I'm with someone and we're just talking about how some other artist or some other person is just so great, get on my phone and I text them and I'm like, hey, by the way, we were talking about you and talking about how amazing you are.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to know that we're out here talking about how great you are.
Absolutely. Yes. Give people their flowers, as they say.
Yeah.
While they're still here. How many times those conversations in life of, before my mom passed, I asked her, Mom, what is it you always want me to remember? What's going to make you proud? Because how many times did I have people that lost their mom just saying, I wish I could have one more conversation? Or I just wish I could give my mom one more hug or tell her I love her. Nope. I did that every time I had her. I gave her the last hug, every hug. I told her I loved her like it was the last time, and I learned, and now it's been the biggest thing of my process of I'm healed from grief, the most complicated emotion in my opinion, because of those conversations of letting somebody know while they're here. Mom, I love you. You're my everything. If I ever lost you, I'd be so lost. Tell me what you want me to always remember. I just want you to find your happiness, son. I found it. My grandmother wanted me to find God, and I found it. I get chills. My hairs stick up as I tell everybody this because they are in me. They're smiling at me. They're watching me thrive. That's a very deep thing, but it goes down to every single time someone is there and and you are talking good about them. You to somebody else, you say, hey, I ran into so-and-so the other day and I was just telling them about how proud I am that you're doing this in your life or whatever. And like, let them know. That's great. You want to let people know that they're like, that people love you. They're thinking about you. You care about them. And it's just I wrote a song about another friend of mine, my best friend here in Las Vegas, Charles King. I have a song Charles. For my next actually, this is great. We're talking about this because I wrote a song on my next album, Grief.
Right. Which I'm so excited for.
Called Best Friend. Okay. Where I'm telling him how much I appreciate and love him. Because how many people have a song that they do that, number one, while they're still alive. But number two, like I hear songs about your mother. I hear songs about your wife, the love songs. But I've never heard a song about just wanting to give flowers to my best friend for what he got me through. So that's what I did. It's been a big part of my grief because he was the one that was there when my mom died to give me my first hug, to be there for me. And yeah, man, everybody give flowers out there to the ones that you love while they're still here and keep on complimenting them and let them know that you're complimenting them behind their back when there's closed doors.
I love that. Yeah. There's not very many best friend songs or like friend songs.
Yeah.
And every single time I hear one, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, I love this. Like,
and it's so personal. That's so the thing cool. For me. Like friends, how many of us have them? There is friends songs. And there's a lot of good songs, and best friends could be like your dog or anything too. But I really just say like I get really personal about mine. Where like, hey, like you got me through this. And during the holidays when I had nobody, I thank you. And I thank you for not only you, but Victoria, his girlfriend, and both of your families for taking me in during holidays when it was hard for me. I get to talk to him as like saying thank you for what you got me through. And it's just in rap though, like so there's a lot of songs, but like in rap, I'm like, I haven't heard that concept yet.
Yeah, it's a concept that is it's not sung about enough.
Yeah.
Because it's something that is so valuable to us as people, this like experience that we can have. So speaking of grief, because I thought Grief was going to come out.
Yep, in February.
Back in February.
Yep.
And before that, I thought it was going to come out even earlier.
Oh, yeah.
When's Grief coming? Do we have a date yet or no? Do you not have a date yet?
I don't.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why there's been postponements.
Okay, I want to hear it.
The very first song that I wrote for Grief was the day that my mom died. And I did a show the following night, the day after my mom died. And I didn't call off on that show because I know that my mom, that's not what she would have wanted. The show must go on. She always taught me that way. And I was in a lot of pain. I wrote that first song. I wrote from the day my grandmother died, the day that my nephew was murdered, and I held his hand and watched him die. I wrote songs during very pivotal moments of the grief. During the year of sobriety that I took, I've wrote those songs. The biggest thing for me of why I wanted to create Grief was not to make a painful album that was going to take people and bring them into a sad side of my music. The biggest part of this album for me was to make this my masterpiece, to show people this was written the day that my mom died, all the way to the very day I found myself again and fell in love with myself so you're going into, you hear the pain in my voice on a lot of these songs, tears through the recording of the songs, all the way to now enlightened, singing songs and saying that one day when I make it in heaven, I'm going to say hello to my mom and my grandmother and all these people, but I'm going to come back here and keep thriving. I knew I wanted to make it February 3rd, 2-year anniversary of my mom's death was my original, like the release date I was really pushing for on this last go around. But then my studio broke down. Yeah. And financially, I just not at a place right now where I can get everything I need fixed. And I trust the process. You can't, even though I wanted these dates and I had my heart set in stone on them, I'm not going to rush this masterpiece that I've been creating. And it's going to be the most impactful album, my 11th album. And it's going to be the most impactful one to where I know that when I release this, and I've already showed people that have cried their eyes out and showed people that have, will you please send me this song? I need to hear it. I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And just from the intro of the day my mom is literally just a solo of me just talking and rap more of a poetic way, but rapping, and where I cry at the very end of it about the very day that my brother told me that my mom died, and then I had to see that, and goes into the next song, Serotonin and Dopamine, which I call sad, Serotonin and Dopamine. And then I have this whole trajectory of the songs I make. I sing a lot in this. I am changing as an artist and developing into a very mature artist on this album. It's my most exciting project, my biggest piece of art, that as long as I can come out with that album before I die, which I plan on dropping this album within, I hope by the end of this year. That's my goal. But it will be within this next year, for sure.
Cool. Perfect. That's a relief.
Hopefully sooner than what everybody expects, because I have so many songs written, and I'm probably just going to get a session with Inkwell soon, which is a great friend of mine. Shout outs to him. Amazing engineer, Ryan Sayers Entertainment.
Great engineer.
Yeah, man. And one of my best friends, and just amazing engineer that records all my projects. But yeah, I just want to be able to know that if I drop this album and I were to die tomorrow, my life has been complete. As long as I give this piece of art to the world, that is literally, to me, the most complicated emotion is grief that people could struggle their whole life with, to hear this medicine that I'm going to give them for their ears.
Yeah. You released a song kind of recently. Is that on Grief?
So I release a lot of stuff that's going to be on Grief through my Instagram. They get to hear, I like to do videos where I'm rapping these things at home. Cause this is like, I might have the first verse done, but then I put it out on Instagram, and my fans, it's a way for me to give to them, to like, when the album comes out, like, dude, I heard this like 7 months ago when Snap was in his room and he did that, because like, I want to give them that and give them that like inside of like, I want them to see where I was at. And now the album's out and they get to put all of this together of what was created. So yeah, I do have I have a song on YouTube that I did a video for. It's called It's Okay. Powerful song. And I did the video for it. So that's going to be on Grief. There's 3 songs that are out there that are on Grief through my Spotify.
Okay.
Time Is Now, another one.
I think that's the one I listened to recently, and I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, that's such a great song, and my best work. I chose not to put it out there because I want those to be the ones that like,
Right.
oh, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have little pieces and little puzzles out there, kind of it.
Good to know. You showed me one of the songs from Grief at one point. I don't think it's come out yet. It might have been Sad. It was one of them that was more finished. And I was like, oh, this is good. Like, I was like, oh, this is like, and no offense to any of your other work because you put out great work.
Oh yeah.
But I listened
All
to this and I was
different,
like,
yeah,
this is some of the best stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard from Snap.
Thank you.
I'm very excited for this. And you got me super excited. And then I just feel like I've been waiting so long and I'm just like, I want that album so bad because I think it's going to be so excellent.
Yeah.
And I'm already just so excited for it.
I want to do so much more to it. I want to put my mom's voicemails on interludes. Ooh. I want to put my grandma's voicemail on an interlude. I want to really make this something where I'm like, I can't rush this is my masterpiece.
Yep.
And I have all of the great music for it, but it's not complete.
And I don't want you to rush it at all. I hope I'm not putting any pressure that way.
So many people are like, when is Grief coming out? I need it. And I'm like, good. Keep wanting it, need it. I will let everybody know when it's out. And when it does come out, you will realize I am like, it marinated and it lived beyond its hype.
Oh, good. I'm very excited about it. I think it's one of the more anticipated albums for me. Like I rarely get I think yours and then Cody has said he's probably coming out with his album this year, which I'm very excited for as well. Sophomore Slump.
Yep.
I don't know if he's
such a good writer.
He
gave me his first album the other day and I didn't get a chance to ever listen to it prior to him giving me the album.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and so me listening to that album and I'm like, oh my God. And he's such a humbled guy. I love when I hear some of my favorite artists, they're like, oh, you're the legend. I'm like, no, dude, you're the legend. Like,
right.
No, like that's cool. And especially in rap, because rap there's a lot of egos in it and everybody wants to be better than the other. That's why there's battle rap. I think it is a sport.
I think the ego in rap is the funniest thing ever. It's
so funny.
It's so funny and it cracks me up. And it's one of the reasons because I have been transitioning into hip hop I've always done like a little bit of rapping, but this Flows is the kind of like first all hip hop album. And one of the reasons I'm transferring into it is because I find myself consistently cracking up in the community. I literally at Cody's show, the one he did with Vessel, as I'm walking through the crowds of people, I heard like 3 or 4 different rappers say, I'm the best MC in Vegas. And I'm like, you're not all the best MC in Vegas, guys.
You're not the best. You don't make the best chicken in the world. You don't make the best slice of pizza. There are so many flavors out there that people are not going to say that. Like, you can't.
It's so good. I love it so much because I find what's fascinating about it is like my friends who are rappers, they'll get on the mic and they'll have like all this bravado and all this confidence and it's so intense and it's so passionate. And then when they're introducing themselves to people, they're like, I'm the best. Like they give off that vibe.
Yeah.
And then you talk to them one-on-one and all their insecurities come out.
Oh yeah. That's why.
And you start hearing like all this anxiety and all these insecurities and you're like, oh, like this is so different. And you're like, oh, like what's real here? And I love that dichotomy. Yeah. I love the paradox of that.
Yeah.
Of those people like living and breathing and like being out in the community.
Yeah.
So much. I feel like that's one of the things that attracts me to it, which it shouldn't, but I think it's so funny and I enjoy it so much. I enjoy the theater of it.
It could be a beautiful thing or it could be a destructive thing. With an ego is like, you gotta believe in yourself. So you need ego to believe in yourself and to think that you're the best you though. Like you don't need to be the best in the world to everybody else. Be the best you for you. But yeah, like, and then there's like another side of like, oh, I'm the best rapper in Vegas. Ain't nobody can do like what I do. And those are the things that like, I think it's just they're craving love. They want the attention. They need to be heard because a lot of them are broken. And that's where like other artists, they hate on each other, but it's like, I don't ever take it personal because I just know that they're battling something in their life, that they're hating themselves. And because I get it, because I used to be one. 16, 17 years old, I'm going to be better than every rapper in the world. I'm like, I'm going to make it. And it got me to be a good rapper over time, but it also made me, I've also been humbled to see other artists that were more amazing than myself and just say, oh man. And then when people ask, and it's just the simple thing of when someone asks me, who's your favorite rapper? It's impossible for me to answer because one day I might like J. Cole as like a current thing I like, or another day I might think that Eminem is the greatest, or I might think that this person, or so it's like it's just a never ending topic. There is no best. I just think that it is a game, and it's like, I don't know. I think that game of like, I want to be the best though needs to stop. Like come together and just make your best art together.
And I think that's another thing that is so paradoxical about it. There is no other group of musicians who are more collaborative.
Yeah.
Than hip hop artists.
It's true. That's the strange thing, isn't it? Yeah. I
Like,
never thought of that.
I try to work with singer-songwriters, and some of them are very open, and I've put out great features with them. People like Jan, for example, or Harley, who are just phenomenal writers and phenomenal vocalists. And it's great. But when I talk to any rapper, like, I'm like, hey, do you want to like work on something? And I like send them a beat, they send me a beat, and it just happens. And like, we don't even think about it. We're just like, this is fun. Like, we're just playing with each other, and we're just making little hip hop things.
Cross genre really it blends nicely, gives you like a difference for both artists to be able to change it up a little bit and have fun. I've always thought that writing is a martial art. I want to when people ask me like, what kind of rap do you do? Oh, I'm a 6th degree or 7th degree black belt at rap. And they're like, what does that mean?
I love that. That's such a great answer.
And then people are like, what does that mean? I'm like, you tell me, what kind of rap do you like? And they'll be like, oh, I listen to this person. I'm like, okay, I have a song for that. Listen to this then. It's like, I want to be able to sing choruses. I want to be able to freestyle rap. I want to be able to battle rap. I want to be able to write songs that are topic related. I want to write songs that are fun. I want to chop and rap really fast for people. I want to rap a little slower. I want to master the culture. Of it all.
You want to be the perfect like all around player.
1,000%. Yeah, I want to collaborate with every single genre as like the rapper that I never thought I could hear rap to this, but he did it where it worked.
Right.
I love the challenge. That's the funnest part these days I get with music is you could be a great writer, but now I want to learn the voice. How do I use my vocal tones? How do I do how do I project? One of the things that I like to do, I'll give a gem to everybody out there that maybe raps or is a singer. One of my things, when I rap and I do fast, people are like, dude, I hear you so clearly. Like your trajectory over the mic is so good. How do you do it? I bite down on a pencil when I rehearse my lyrics. That's what I do. It helps me with the muscle movement with my cheeks and my lips. So when I have to like tighten certain areas of my cheeks, when I'm pushing out fast rhymes and things like that, a lot of it has to do with just muscle memory, biting down on a pencil. And everybody can practice this. I want somebody to be able to rap their song normally, and then I want you to bite down on a pencil and then rap that whole song with a pencil in your mouth, and then do a third take without the pencil and rap that verse again, and I guarantee you will hear clarity in that third verse versus the first verse of being able to do that. It really helps you enunciate better. It's like a big tip that I learned. I don't remember who I learned it from, but I learned when I was like 13 years old, 14. I kept a dictionary underneath my bed. My mom would get mad. Where's the dictionary at? She used to love telling that story because I would try to learn new words. And then also I would practice like rapping in pitch black. And like now I practice rap underwater. When I'm in the sauna at the gym to these days, if like nobody's there, like I love to rap in that kind of environment, like where I'm really hot and like, because when it's time to hit the stage and then it's like, you're like athletic, your voice becomes like an athlete in a way.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's so smart. It reminds me of, there's this really cool story of, and sometimes people talk about like manifesting and envisioning things. And I think they do it the wrong way.
Oh, 100%.
Because they're not envisioning everything that could go wrong and finding ways to overcome it, which I think is part of that process.
1,000%.
And I think you're doing that. It reminds me, Michael Phelps at one point, he was in an Olympic race for the butterfly, I believe, and his goggles fell off. And he still not only like won, but he broke a world record or something like that. Like just insanity. And everyone was like, your goggles fell off.
Yeah.
How did you do that? And he said, I have envisioned that scenario 100 times. And I thought, how would I react if my goggles fell off while I was swimming?
I love that.
And I feel like what you're doing is you're saying, I want to be prepared for every single scenario that might happen to me while I'm rapping. It might be 115 degrees outside, which I had a show that was literally 115 degrees. And I was dancing on stage and I was like, oh, like I felt like I wanted to puke. And I was like, oh,
elevation, practicing on hiking.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
Because then you're prepared.
Yeah.
You're prepared no matter what
happens. You go to Colorado, you haven't done a show there yet. Now you're winded halfway through your set because you didn't realize that elevation. I practice it all. But also, that whole thing of envisioning is so great. When I go to do shows, I usually keep 5 different sets on my USB because I want to read the crowd. What are they going to want to hear? This style of Snap Murphy, this style of Snap Murphy, because I want to make sure that I'm giving to the ones that are around me something that I feel they want to hear. So that way I'm not, I walk into a place and I'm like, oh, doesn't seem like a lot of people like listen to rap here. Like, what songs can I do that are a little softer? Because if I do these hard, they're not going to like it. They're not going to enjoy my set. And I don't want that to happen. I want somebody out there to love and enjoy it. That's why also, like you've seen me at many times at Taverna, where I'll do certain songs. I stop and I tell the stories like I'm telling on the podcast, the things that I went through life, because it connects them as a human. And now they're more in tune to, like, even if they didn't like the music, they love you and they support your music because of it.
Because they have a personal connection to you.
Yeah, because of the personal connection. And that's like that's a cool thing to have, man. Like, just to be able to, you don't even listen. I went and did a show at Backstage Bar and Billiards. This guy comes in with a giant mohawk and just tattoos and chains on his nose, and big biker looking dude. Like this dude likes punk or heavy metal. When I got off the stage, he goes, dude, I hate rap music, first and foremost. I don't like it at all. I was walking outside and I heard your voice of just how much you were projecting to where I bought a ticket and had to see what the hell was going on. You're amazing. And he never liked rap his whole life, but loved me as an artist that was someone that had a voice, and the way I project and the way I put power behind what I say. He felt it in his heart and his soul, where he had to come in and buy a ticket. Someone that doesn't even like rap. Like, that's the moments that you got to keep on pushing for.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, so that's great. I love that idea of like being cross genre. You talked a little bit earlier about how there are, you can't really have like a favorite rapper of all time because it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
Who are you listening to right now? Who has been like
right now?
Yeah, interesting for you.
So
Dak, of course, recently you got that album.
Yeah, I mean, locally, Dak and Vessel are like 2 of my favorite rappers in town.
They're amazing.
My buddy Charles King, amazing artist. I like a lot of the, for local rap, like, even though they're my friends, I really enjoy their art a lot.
Oh, 100%. I would say of all time, Cody is one of my favorite rappers.
Yeah.
Of all time, like of all rappers.
Such a good writer too. Yeah. And he's so smart and intelligent, the way that he conducts business of the music. And that's so important. We all want to be musicians, but you got to have some sense into, like, if you really want to make it your brand and really make it in music for your living, then you got to learn the business of it all. And I think that not only is he a good writer, and just everything he does from social media, his content, it's just someone that's really well put together. And that's what I respect about him. Vessel is he's probably my favorite rapper in Vegas.
Nice.
Like for me. Yeah. And for him, he's such an amazing artist that it's like where I'm like, man, the world needs to hear what he has to say, because he's so amazing. And then Charlie is like the party kind of guy, where he just has like he's such a good songwriter when it comes to, and choruses. His choruses are so good, but he puts on such a great live show. And that's the fun thing about being around all these guys, is it makes me better at my own craft of what I do. It inspires me. Some of the artists I'm listening to beyond local that I really love, rap-wise, Mac Miller is probably consistently one of my favorite. Rest in peace to him. But he's one of my favorite artists just because of the vulnerability and him being willing to speak about things in a way where he's got such a great voice and just good songwriting, but just a way that I really feel his heart and relate to him. But I've been listening to, I love NF. I love what he's doing. I think he's an amazing artist. I love Cal Scrubby. I don't know if you heard of him.
I've never heard of Cal Scrubby.
He's amazing. He's from Ohio. I really love his music. I like Connor Price. I think that dude's awesome what he's doing and pushing out there. But God, there are so many artists right now that I love. Little Dicky. Oh my gosh. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I love him, but I do that. But then I love listening to all genres of music too. But rappers, that's my favorite with that. Like I love, as far as like some of the outside of rap, just to name a few, like Charles Bradley. Love Charles Bradley. Amazing, just soulful singer that really just impacts me. I love soul music. Charles Bradley and Donny Hathaway, Donna Summer, some of the classics from back in the day.
Sam Cooke.
Yeah, Sam Cooke. Like those are all big inspirations. I love folk music. I love Gosling, which is really awesome. From Australia. I love, so there's like, even though I rap, sometimes I find the inspiration not to even rap, but to be from other genres. And that's like, I don't know. It's been a big thing.
I actually think that's another cool thing about hip hop is that it is very influenced by other genres. You know, I heard this because I feel like sometimes there's this thought of rap being black music, which there's definitely great influence from black culture on rap, 100%. But I think if you just limit it there, you're not getting the full scope because I think it's an everybody music.
Oh, yeah. I did an interview about this one time because rap is considered black culture in the sense of it was in the 70s when it was coming out with DJ Kool Herc. It was party music. It was a way like they would go out to
the Bronx.
The Bronx. They had like the playground. And then they had the very first ever hip hop show at a party. And so like, but the main thing about rap though was it was a voice of expression, of impression, and just what everybody that was going through something at that time, they were the voices for their culture.
Right.
But as everything has an evolution, it's grown. It's not based on just a race. It's not just that it's black culture. It's a human culture. But I do pay respects of how it was as a white man in like this culture of rap. I do pay respects to that and give homage to what the originality of it all, where it came from.
Yeah.
But it's also elevated and brought people together. And I think that's the really cool thing is whether you're white, black, Mexican, Korean, everybody, there's rappers of of all different genres now.
Oh yeah.
You know,
one of my favorite rappers of all time, actually two of my favorite rappers of all time are both Korean.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, I love Year of the Ox. Year of the Ox.
Oh, I don't know him.
Korean rappers, also up there, highly recommended.
Okay.
Year of the Ox they're from New York.
Okay.
And they're amazing.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check them out. I'm really into like G-Dragon.
Okay.
And Top, which is funny because you're hearing those names and you're like, I have no idea.
I've heard of them, so I have something to hear too.
In the US, they're not that popular.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere else in the world,
yeah,
they cannot walk on the street without being mobbed. They need to have like security guards because they're so insanely famous.
I love that. Have you ever heard of the documentary Searching for Sugar Man?
I have.
Yeah. It reminds me of that kind of, but even like where he didn't even know that
he didn't know anything.
He had no idea that people across the world, he's a huge star.
Right.
You never know who's out there listening.
Right.
I think that's something that every artist also needs to, like every musician needs to take is like, when you feel like, oh, I've been working so hard, no one's listening. There's probably like me, there's a kid out there in Montana, like you're the hero to, that lives in a small town that loves your music, but you just never knew that because they're not on social media messaging you about it.
Like local band, The Hire, right? Who they're pretty big. I would say they're probably like a national band.
Yeah.
But they're huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Which is so weird.
Yeah.
And like, that's a joke. Oh, but I'm huge in Japan, but they're like legitimately are massive in Japan. They've had like top 20 hits in Japan.
That's so cool.
Which is so random. That kind of stuff can happen and it's the coolest thing.
Me and Dak and like Vessel, we had put out Reach Out and I think it was like Finland was like our biggest market. Like people in Finland loved it. And so like we all had this like joke. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty big in Finland. I can't work with you anymore. It's just like, but I actually, another funny story, I have this fan base in Turkey because of all the times I would tell people like on hashtags, half man, half turkey. Somehow people in Turkey actually like find me. There's this big YouTuber, his name's Sneeko. And this guy's humongous. He just actually got into what was it? He got into a fight with a sparring session with a UFC fighter recently.
Wild. Okay.
But like, he's just for content stuff, but he's a really big content and and I had no idea, but on one of his like short films, he used my song Numb on it.
So that's why that blew up.
And it's my biggest song, probably like 20, 30,000 streams, which is
great.
Amazing. Like next to the other ones are 1,000 to 2,000, but like this one just blew up. But the cool thing about that song was Numb was a song that I wrote the day after the second time I thought about killing myself. So like, it's just like how that was the song that was chosen for this and like had nothing to do about it necessarily. It talked about depression in it, but it didn't tell like that story of what I did the night before, but I needed to write it and let it out. And so like, that's the biggest song. That's another thing that's like almost like a sign of like, and I never thought that would be my biggest song, but everybody loves that song that I talk to. That's probably just they see the streams too, and they're like, "That song is so amazing."
Like that's the biggest one, so I gotta listen to that.
So
one.
I gotta listen to that one, and they love it. Like Grief is like, oh my gosh, that's why I'm so excited is because if people love that music, like and that song, and like wait till they hear what I'm getting ready to do like next.
I'm so excited. Everything I've heard from Grief, I've loved, and I've liked the little Instagram stories. I think you're a fascinating individual. I've really liked. I think your social media posts are so interesting. Every time you post, I'm like, what's Snap getting into this time? Like,
it's either going to be empowering, it's going to be funny,
or it's going to be like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, that's it.
At one point you said like, I'm quitting music, guys. And I'm like, no,
yeah.
What?
Dude, like I'm like the Kanye West of like Vegas in a way, but not into that level of
Kanye before the anti-Semitism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? And people ask me, like, dude, I thought that was your last show. I'm like, I thought it was. You got to understand, I would never put that content out there if I didn't feel done. But you got to understand too, it's like, I was struggling with the depression really hard. Music was something I didn't even care about. I just felt like I'm defeated. And then like, I wanted like my roommate situation, like people that like, we were talking about like I had to move in a month and because of just, we lost it. Like they went through a divorce. It was just like hard. So I thought I was gonna have to move. And then like, I was going to move to Nashville. I'm like telling people like, dude, I'm leaving. I'm going to Nashville. I've done this like 4 or 5 times.
I know.
And it happens a lot and it sucks because I'm putting myself out there and it maybe looks like a joke on the outside looking in, but it's not. I've meant it every time. Right. I was ready to go every time. And somehow, some way, like something's kept me here. I don't know how to explain it, but just this last time. And I think a lot of the escaping is like, I can't be around the people I'm around. Like, I need to find myself. I feel lost. And ever since I've been in the gym, I still have like taken steps away from music and not doing many shows. I am doing a show this Saturday, by the way, at Taverna.
Like in tomorrow or?
Yeah, tomorrow. I'll be at Taverna performing with the doors are at 8. Show starts at 9. I'll probably be on like 10:30.
Okay, cool. I'll have to be there.
So I will be there. Charles King's performing and then some really amazing artists I know you're going to love. Definitely make it if you can.
Okay, yeah. I'm doing another podcast possibly with Cody tomorrow night. We're not like 100% sure, but I'll come right after that.
Cool.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So like, it's funny because like, ironically enough, I have the show tomorrow, but like I did one other show this year. I thought it was my last show, the last one I did. I was like, this is my last show. I'm done because I'm moving in March. That was the goal. And then I even told my roommates, like, I'm giving you a 30-day notice. I'm moving in March. It all happened. And then I had like this like talk I had this like kind of a talk with a friend of mine and like, just like, dude, like I want to see you shine this year. And I want you to really work on you. And I started going to a gym, started intermittent fasting. And like, now I'm down 40 pounds and I'm just like, I feel happy. I feel good. I'm like mentally in the best place I've ever been. And I was putting too much pressure on the music. People telling people I got grief coming out, people wanting it. I'm mentally not ready. I feel a rut. I feel like just anxiety driven, all these different things. So I was like, I need to just step away. Let me work on me, mind, body, soul. Let me come back as a relationship when I'm ready for it. And now it's like, I'm at that point where I'm ready, but I'm also beyond ready. I'm doing 3 shows in Minneapolis, Minnesota in June. I got a lot of big I'm Sacramento next week, and I'm going to be doing a lot more with the music, but I don't have the intentions of I need to expect anything from it. I had too many expectations, and that's ultimately was overwhelming me. And like, I'm just done. I'm tired. I felt tired. I felt burned out. Now I'm like revitalized. My cup is being filled up because I'm in that gym and I'm working my butt off. And now I'm like, man, I feel really good. I feel like a new kid. I'm running around. I'm skipping. Like, I didn't think I could do this because I was in pain. I have back problems, all these things. Like when you're in pain can alter your thinking. And I just felt like I wanted to get thrown in the towel. And now here I am reborn.
I'm so glad you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being a part of this.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. This has been such a fun experience. It's always good just hanging out with you. Like,
thank you. I feel the same.
Yeah. It's just like a pleasure. I was like, it's fun doing this because I feel like it's an excuse to just sit down and have a conversation with some friends.
This is what we would be doing without the podcast.
100%.
That's the best thing about it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? If we were just hanging out, this is how we did. Like when we were at that Life is Beautiful thing that I went to with you.
Yeah.
And it was just
a pre-party. Yeah.
Yeah. That pre-party. It was just fun hanging out.
Fun.
We were just goofing.
Yeah. And it was such a good time. We got to like really witness some cool things and get ourselves out there and just connect and network. And like those moments happen because you just got to keep putting yourself out there. Keep pushing for your dreams, all you listeners out there.
Yeah, love it. Thanks so much, Snap.
Thank you for having me. And
You're a legend.
Everybody out there, make sure you check out our song, Next Part.
Yeah, Next Part. It's a great song. Okay, thanks so much.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to rate, subscribe, and share with friends who enjoy music.
We'll be back with another episode from this series soon where Kevin will sit down with Dak, so you won't want to miss that one.
Until then, listen to good music.